Now hear this. All hands man your stations. The captain's going to try to surface the ship again.
Quartermaster, sound the surfacing signals. Mr. Jones, tell the chief engineer to report continuously what happens in the engine room.
Aye, aye, Skipper. Captain Nagel, Mr. Antonio wants to talk to you. Use my headphones, sir.
Very well. Yes, Antonio, what's wrong?
It's no use, Captain. I can't get enough pressure in the pump because of the damaged cylinder.
Can't you replace the cylinder?
I don't have an extra cylinder, sir. If I get out of this one alive, I will have, though.
Captain, the ship's listing to the port side. If she lays over any more, we'll get chlorine.
Cut your engines, Mr. Antonio. Cut them now.
I'd better check the storage batteries to make sure they didn't spill. We can't have any chlorine gas now.
Very well. Let me know how you make out. Mr. Jones, release the distress float and force some oil and debris out of a torpedo tube. We'll have to hope and pray that somebody sees our cry for help.
Well, Red, it won't be long before we've completed our 500th flight across the Pacific.
That's right, Bob. We've flown everything from the King of Siam to a plane load of penguins. Hey, Bob, what's that oil slick down there?
Where? I don't see it.
Just a minute. I'll circle around. We'll cut down our speed.
I see it, Red. There's a sub-distress float down there. And there's some debris down there, too.
A sub-distress float? That means there's...
Yeah, Red. A pig boat's down there, and it's in trouble. Head for the field, and I'll radio the naval base.
Right.
Boy, Ben, you sure know how to cook. This is a wonderful breakfast.
I'll second the motion, pal. Ben, you do the job up brown.
Too bad me can't eat more. Me willing, but stomach say it had enough.
Yes, sir. If there's anything I like more than good food, it's more of it.
We interrupt this program to bring you an important news bulletin. A transoceanic passenger plane reported sighted a Navy sub-distress float 25 miles off the coast, about opposite the famous 10 Fathoms Shallows fishing ground.
Swordfish. They ain't very far from where we was fishing.
Keep tuned to this station for more news about the distressed sub. We'll interrupt this program as soon as we find out more from the Navy.
Ben, you were right when you had that feeling of trouble under the sea.
Ben had that feeling?
I sure did, son. That's why we stopped fishing and cruised around a while. They must have released the distressed boy after we left.
Me think Navy can handle this well. They have plenty good salvage equipment.
That's right, Grey Wolf. They've got specialists for that kind of work. They've also got the latest submarine rescue gear.
Well, they can handle it all right. It sort of gives you a queer feeling when you find out that we were having a good time while right under us a tough situation was developing.
How deep is it out there, Ben?
20 fathoms, Stumpy. The ocean bed suddenly drops after the 10 fathom showers.
120 feet of water, eh? I'm sure glad I'm not stuck down there in that sub.
How much more oxygen have we got, Mr. Antonio?
About 10 hours supply, Skipper, that's all. If you stop the men from working, we might be able to stretch it to 12 hours.
That's right, Skipper. The men would need so much oxygen if they were resting.
I appreciate your counsel, gentlemen, but I'm the captain of the ship. I don't want a sub full of maniacs, so keep them busy. I feel sure that help will come. A fishing boat or plane will see our distressed boy and that oil slick.
What'll we do if they don't see our distress signal or they don't recognize what it means?
Mr. Jones, we've got 10 hours to think up an answer to that question.
I wonder when they're going to broadcast more news of the sub.
Well, be patient, Sonny. Things like news take time.
Maybe so, but just the same, it would be good to hear news.
Hey, quiet, fellas. The music stopped. Perhaps they've got another bulletin.
We interrupt this program again to bring you more news about the sunken submarine. Navy spokesmen are rushing salvage ships to the scene of the disaster. The ships won't arrive until tomorrow morning as they're with the fleet on maneuvers. The submarine that's distressed is an old-type ship used only for training purposes. Stay tuned to this station for more news on the submarine disaster.
Turn that noise box off, Henry.
Sure, Bill. What's eating you?
Plenty. Those salvage ships aren't going to arrive in time. The old-style subs haven't that much supply of oxygen. I'm going ashore and find a telephone. Ben wants to know where I'm at. Tell him anything. Anything but what I'm actually doing.
Commander Bill speaking.
Commander, this is Bill Jefferson. I'm a forest ranger.
Oh, yes, Mr. Jefferson. I've read about you from time to time. What can I do for you?
Commander, your salvage ships aren't going to arrive in time to help the men trapped in the sub, are they?
Well, I don't exactly know about that.
This is off the record, Commander. Maybe I can help the lads trapped in the sub.
You're sure I'm not going on record?
Positive. That's a promise.
All right. For obvious reasons, we couldn't tell the newsmen that the rescue ships wouldn't get there in time. A mistake was made in letting all the salvage ships go with the fleet. Whenever the training sub is operating, there's supposed to be a salvage ship here. For the simple reason it's an old sub. You say you can help, but how?
You know Ben Benson?
Yes, I know him. He's a fine old man. Used to be a great salvage engineer and sub-rescue man. Say, now I get what you're driving at.
Then you approve?
Well, by all means. I'll give you all the cooperation and men you need. When can you and old Ben start work in the sub?
I wish we could right now, Commander. But it isn't that simple. I've got to talk Ben into it. He's lost self-confidence since the death of his son.
Yes, I know.
I'm going to talk with him right now. I'll let you know how I make out.
And your answer is still no, Ben.
Yes, Bill, it's still no.
But why? Give me one good reason why.
Because you know why. Ain't that a good enough reason?
No, it isn't. There are 20 men facing certain death because you haven't buried the dead, Ben Benson.
What do you mean? I haven't buried the dead.
Your son's gone. All the worry and fretting and self-accusation won't bring him back. Besides, it was an accident. But you can do something for 20 men who are still living. Do this for Frank's sake, Ben. It's what he'd want you to do if he were right here beside you.
No, Bill. It's no use. Who could trust a man who would...
Stop beating yourself, Ben. I trust you. I'll put on a diving suit and go down and work on the sub if you'll tell me what to do.
You trust your life in my hands, Bill?
Yes, even in 120 feet of water. What do you say now, Ben?
No, Bill, I won't do it.
Ben, I always understood that men of the sea had guts and determination. Ben, you're a jellyfish, a disgrace to the memory of your son.
Them's harsh words, Bill. They cut pretty deep.
I'm sorry I had to say them, Ben. I'm thinking of the 20 men more than I'm thinking of you. All right, let's drop it. I'll call the commander and tell him no.
Bill, wait a minute.
I've said all I'm going to say, Ben.
You're going to call the commander now?
Yes.
Well, tell him then... I hate it with all that's in me, but I'll be ready to begin rescue work in 2 hours. Once this job is over, nobody will ever get me on a salvage mission again. tide's running out, Bill. You'll drift over to the sub. She lays about 100 yards star stern.
Okay, Ben. Put the diving helmet on. I'm ready to go.
Good boy. The escape hatch is rigged on the winches. When you're ready for it, we'll lower away.
As soon as you get the helmet on, let's test the intercom.
Be careful, Bill. If you get into trouble, holler, and we'll pull you right up.
I will, pal. Don't worry about me.
You sure you're not come up too fast, or you get bends from change in water pressure, Bill?
Say hello to Davy Jones, Bill. Tell him I ain't heard a word from him for so long that I thought he moved.
Ben, put the helmet on. These guys will keep me here all day.
Here goes.
All set, Ben?
Yeah, lower the platform into the water. I'll talk to Bill as he's going down. Hello, Bill. Can you hear me?
Yes, Ben. The intercom's working fine. I'm getting a good supply of air.
Fine. Let us know when you feel the buoyancy of the water some, and we'll stop the platform. Or you can ride it all the way to the bottom.
I think I'll ride the platform all the way to the bottom. The oxygen's getting a little thin now, Ben.
Okay, we'll step up the pumps.
That's just right, Ben. I'll pass the oxygen hose down, and I'll put it along with me over to the sub.
Okay, Bill. You'll find the coupling on the port side of the conning tower. Fasten the hose on, and we'll force the valve open with air pressure and give the boys some clean air.
Captain, you hear that? Somebody's outside the sub. You're right, Mr. Jones. It's a rescue diver working on the outside. Take the hammer and answer his signals. Right. It's the rescue diver, all right. Captain, it's happened. We're being rescued. Yes, Mr. Jones. And thank the Lord that somebody's our distress signals. Inform the crew as to what's going on. Oxygen. They're pumping oxygen into the sub. Wait, Mr. Jones. They'll do that for half an hour. Then they'll lower the escape hatch. We'll begin to leave the ship.
Ben, you did a great job. In about 5 hours, we'll have the whole crew out of the sub.
It ain't easy bringing them out one at a time, but it gets finished eventually. Don't thank me, though, Commander. Thank Bill.
Oh, nonsense, Ben. You're the one who has the technical knowledge to make this operation a success. I only did what you told me to do.
Ben, what are you going to do now after this is over?
Now, don't ask him, Commander. It's a sore point with him. I'd rather not talk about it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
On the contrary, Bill.
What do you mean, Ben?
I mean, I'm not afraid anymore.
Oh, that's wonderful, Ben. When did you get free of that fear?
When I saw the top of your headpiece sink under the water, Bill, then I knew I would never be afraid again.
And so once again we see that one last ounce of courage is all that it takes to turn defeat into victory. Well, we'll see you next week for more adventure with...